Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Nintendo GameCube and Wii emulation with Dolphin, and if you're a fan of Dolphin, you may be a fan of their latest progress report. If you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. In my opinion here, this blog post is really well written. It's very interesting. There's a ton of stuff in it, and if I were to go through the whole thing here, we'd be here for quite a while. I'm just going to talk about a few things here that I find very interesting. So one of the apparent hot topics here is whether or not those new GameCube controllers from Nintendo for NSO will work within Dolphin. And short answer here is no, not yet. They're waiting for SDL to get that working, and then once it's working, they'll throw it into Dolphin. Now, for those who may not be aware, SDL stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Simple Direct Media Layer, depending on how you wanted to interpret that. Anyways, here at a super high level, it does appear that SDL has the Nintendo Switch 2 GameCube controller in its crosshairs. And it is working on it, but it's not feature complete just yet. Now for Dolphin on PC, and right now this only applies to PC, dual core mode is disabled by default and single core is enabled by default. And this means that, well, it really won't mean probably a whole lot to a lot of people. Dual core is faster than single core, but at the same time it's far less stable. It can crash Dolphin quite a bit more. So single core is enabled by default, and most PCs nowadays can run single core and Dolphin absolutely fine. But for less powerful or older PCs, dual core mode may just need to be enabled after install or update. There's also improvements to Bluetooth pass-through, which may help with connecting stuff like Wiimotes to Windows PCs and more. For controllers, there's now the option to map and calibrate as opposed to just calibrate. So if you're looking to map and calibrate controllers at the exact same time, which I think most people would be, this is a very helpful option. On top of that stuff, there's been even more fixes and improvements and even more. I would recommend checking out the article if you're interested in learning more about it. I mean, they talk about dual core stuff and why it's difficult and unstable. They talk about the Disney Trio of Destruction. It's a very interesting read overall. They talk about Avalanche software and even more. And speaking about fixes and improvements, next up we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Azahar, and Azahar just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, Azahar version 21.23.2 is the latest update. And they say here this is a minor release for the 21.23.x branch, which primarily introduces changes to our build process to improve modern platform support. It also addresses some minor issues which could be experienced while using the emulator. So taking a look at the changelog, and there appear to be fixes and updates across the board, Windows, macOS, and Android. And on Android, they've also added native support for Android devices with 16 KB memory pages. And continuing to talk about NES stuff, next up we're going back a few generations and talking about NES emulation with NESd, or NESd, or something else I can't quite put my finger on. I'll let you guys guess in the comments below. Anyways here, this is an NES emulator written in Dart and Flutter. It supports macOS, Windows, Android, and Linux, tested on the Steam Deck. It is coming to the Google Play Store and the web in 2025, and it just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, NESd version 0.13.0 is the latest release. And they say here they've added support for TXSROM Mapper 118, added an app image build for Linux, added ARM64 builds for Linux, added an option to customize the theme mode, System Lighter Dark. On top of that, they say they've improved the design of the light mode, although it is currently a work in progress. And they've improved performance of the PPU mapper and APU code. As for what they fixed gamepad inputs not being saved on Windows, and they fixed an issue where the frame rate would drop to less than 1 FPS after running for a while. And speaking about emulation development, next up we're talking about a very interesting YouTube video that I would recommend checking out over on RetroRGB. RetroRGB interviews Nemesis, who was behind the Laser Active emulator. Now, I don't know about you, but I find this stuff very interesting. I mean, I think it's really cool to hear the developer's story, get to know them a little bit better, and learn more about them. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. And speaking about learning more about stuff and interesting stuff, next up we're talking about the Lenovo Legion Go Gen 2. If you're interested in the handheld and wanted to learn more about it from a very interesting angle, I would recommend checking out this post over on Reddit. It's an AMA with the Lenovo Legion team. Anyways, I found this response fascinating, and I don't know about you, but to me this is music to my ears. Check this out. While the Legion Go Gen 2 is optimized for Windows to deliver broad compatibility and a full gaming experience out of the box, its open hardware platform allows for users to explore alternative configurations if they choose. We are exploring official support for SteamOS on the Legion Go Gen 2. Doesn't get much better than that. And speaking about making stuff better, next up we're talking about bricked Nintendo Switches and NAND Fix Pro. For those who may be unaware, NAND Fix Pro is a comprehensive GUI tool for Nintendo Switch NAND repair, designed to simplify complex recovery processes into a user-friendly step-by-step interface. And NAND Fix Pro just got a brand new update. So only just a few days ago, they had the initial release for NAND Fix Pro version 1.0.0, and I don't think I talked about this one in a previous video. I don't even know how I missed it. Maybe I did talk about it, but I don't think so. If I did, let me know in the comments below. I really don't think I talked about it. Anyways, they say this tool wraps complex command line operations into an intuitive interface with 3 distinct levels of repair, catering to everything from minor software corruption to complete NAND failure. However, at the time of filming, version 1.0.1 is the latest update, and they say this is a quality of life update. This update focuses on improving user experience and system reliability with several key enhancements based on user feedback. So on top of some bug fixes, they've enhanced their logging system, they've got process completion notifications and improved error prevention like disk space validation and dependency auto install. Now unfortunately or fortunately, I don't have a bricked Switch to test this out on, but I'm assuming that this tool may be handy in certain situations. I don't know. And speaking about updates, next up we're talking about emulation on iOS with UTM SE Retro PC Emulator, and UTM SE just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, UTM version 4.7.4 is the latest update, and they say here the highlights include QEMU version 10.0.2, Liquid Glass. UTM adopts the Liquid Glass design on OS 26, App Intense, keyboard shortcuts, an improved wizard, and even more. This also incorporates all of the stuff that was previously in the beta version. And speaking about updates, next up we're talking about RetroAchievements and PCSX2. If you are using PCSX2 and using RetroAchievements, you may want to make sure you listen to this PSA. They say here, important, please update PCSX2 nightly by Friday, September 19th. Due to recent achievement stability issues, PCSX2 stable cannot be used for hardcore achievements until version 2.5. And nightly must be 2.5.162 or above. Now, in my opinion here, PCSX2 nightly is way better than PCSX2 stable. Maybe that's a hot take, but I don't think so. Anyways, here they're saying it also applies to XBSX2, which is directly based on PCSX2. And speaking about experimental stuff, but arguably far more experimental than PCSX2 nightly, we're talking about here Tor VPN Beta, which has been released on the Google Play Store from the Tor project. And this is a new VPN, but it's in a very early state, and I wouldn't expect it to be rock solid and very secure just yet. I mean, they say right here, Tor VPN Beta is an early access release and not suitable for high-risk users or sensitive use cases during the beta period. And Tor VPN is not a silver bullet either. Some Android platform data can still identify your device. No VPN can fully prevent this. If you face extreme surveillance risks, we recommend against using Tor VPN Beta. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd say it's pretty neat that this is on the Google Play Store, and one of the neat features here is per app routing. Choose which apps are routed through Tor. Each app gets its own Tor circuit and exit IP, preventing network observers from connecting all of your online activity. And speaking about arguably neat stuff, next up we're quickly talking about the PlayStation DualSense wireless controller. And there's a brand new update being rolled out to allow pairing this controller to multiple devices, and it seems pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, they say here 4 different devices at once, and you just press a face button and the PS button for 5 seconds and pair it to something like your phone or PC or PlayStation. That to me looks really simple and straightforward. Let me know your thoughts. And speaking about controller updates, next up here we're talking about Xbox. And I mean, this whole device is technically also a controller. Anyways, here, there's a brand new article titled Seamlessly Access Your Gaming Library, Apps and Play History in One Place with Xbox on Windows PC and Handheld. I mean, they go on to say here, Xbox is bringing your gaming library, select third-party apps and PC storefronts together in one convenient place. Everyone now has access to the aggregated gaming library. And coming soon, everyone will be able to access their cloud playable titles and play history across all devices. I would say that's a huge step forward for Xbox. Let me know your thoughts. And speaking about steps forward, next up we're talking about Fedora. And if you like to be on the latest and greatest and test out things just as they're released, you might be a big fan of Fedora 43 Beta, which just dropped. It does feature Linux kernel 6.17 and also comes in a whole bunch of different flavors here for desktop environments, including Cosmic. Now, in my opinion here, if you are looking for stability in your operating system, I'd highly recommend avoiding a beta at all costs, and even Cosmic, which hasn't even officially released in beta form just yet. Overall, though, I think this is pretty exciting stuff. It's nice to see Fedora adopt Cosmic, and also nice to see that Fedora 43 is progressing fairly well. And continuing to speak about Linux and arguably cool stuff, next up we're talking about the GPD Win 5, and someone pointed this out right on GPD's website. And they say here, if you're a console gamer and tired of the PS5 Pro and Xbox Series X being locked at 60 FPS, and your Steam account is full of games you've only experienced on handheld devices, then the ultimate combo of Win 5 plus eGPU dock plus Bazzite Desktop Edition will satisfy you. The most thing I'm excited about here is Bazzite. It's really awesome to see that Bazzite is officially supporting the GPD Win 5. Next up, we're talking about Borderlands 4, and well, I don't know if Randy Pitchford is doing good for the game or bad for the game from a PR perspective. I mean, on Twitter here, he's tweeted something out that I think has stirred up a bit of controversy. So LD says, Randy, it took days to get your game to a state I could tolerate playing it. I enjoy Borderlands. I don't enjoy being told to or having to use DLSS or things like it and frame generation. Even with my best setup, the game plays poorly unless you can see delayed inputs as a result of DLSS and frame gen. Aiming with delayed inputs when you have weak points on enemies doesn't feel great. The game plays best on my workstation. Even then, to break 50 FPS, it requires frame generation. This is not a AAA feeling as a customer, almost $100. Would you be happy buying a vehicle and finding out the only way you can go to 60 miles per hour is by wearing drunk goggles? And Randy Pitchford responded, and well, here's his wall of text. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here because there's quite a bit, but I'll highlight the couple of things that are being talked about and the couple of things I find interesting. So Randy says, please get a refund from Steam if you aren't happy with it. I've seen a bunch of articles highlight that quote. And secondly here, Randy says, I'm sorry you don't like being told to use DLSS, but that is the way. So if you don't like DLSS, I would say probably get a refund from Steam if you're not happy about it. In my opinion here, and this might be a hot take, let me know in the comments below, but I would say it's super unfortunate that Borderlands 4 relies on DLSS. I've got zero interest in the game if that is the case, and that seems to be the case as Randy is saying here. I have not bought Borderlands 4 and I don't plan to. And speaking about buying games, next up we're talking about Sony, and Sony has released a brand new corporate report for 2025, and there's a couple of things a lot of people are talking about. And one of them is physical versus digital games. So if we take a look here at the fiscal year 2024 sales breakdown percent, and we can see that physical software is only 3%, and digital software is up at 20%. Now, I'm going to assume some people will take a look at that 3% figure and think that 3% of software sales is not good for physical gaming in general. And I would say yes and no. Arguably here, digital is the way of the future. However, this is just specifically Sony and does not factor in third-party stuff. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the numbers in front of me and I'm just speculating at this point in time, but I'm guessing if you factored in third-party physical sales overall, just looking at overall sales for PlayStation, physical versus digital, probably higher than 3%. Could be wrong about that, but yes, I would argue also that digital is the way of the future. And speaking about digital games, next up we're talking about Delivery Must Complete. Unfortunately, I don't have a release date or price for this one yet, but the game itself looks really interesting. If you're a fan of Devil May Cry and a fan of Air Combat and wanted to see a mashup between the two, more or less leaning towards the air combat side of things, you might be really interested in this game overall. They say right here in the description, high-speed ace-like roguelike with style, or SSS style. Anyways, this one is on my radar. Unfortunately, we don't know if it's Steam Deck compatible just yet. I'm assuming it's going to be, but let me know your thoughts about this one. I think it looks really cool. And speaking about playing stuff, next up here, we're talking about Little Nightmares 3. And if you wanted to check out a demo for this game, a demo has just dropped over on Steam. The game is releasing on August 9th. And speaking about games releasing, next up we're talking about Hyperviolent. Now, Hyperviolent is releasing on September 23rd, and it's not just on Steam here, it's also on GOG and Epic. And if you're interested in this game, you can check it out already in early access on Steam, but if you're not a fan of Steam, it is available on different storefronts. And this is, well, it looks also like a pretty interesting game. If you've played this one, I haven't yet. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. And speaking about paying for games, next up we're talking about the opposite, not paying for games. The best price for a game, free. And we're talking about Mute Crimson DC, which just launched for the Sega Dreamcast. This game is up on itch.io, and again, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. The game isn't small, it's 707 megabytes. And they're saying here there's 9 worlds of carefully crafted ninja platforming. This one is on my radar and I will be checking it out. And speaking about checking stuff out, check out this Kickstarter here for the Brawler 64 Pro Series N64 wireless controller from Retro Fighters. The Kickstarter has not launched yet, but they say here next generation N64 wireless controller for N64, Switch 2, Switch, and PC. Now, unfortunately, this controller will not have Bluetooth, but taking a look, it will have 2.4G wireless, which I would say is probably a preferred method of using it anyway. It does have Hall effect joysticks here. The faceplates are interchangeable via magnets. And it does have a whole lot of features, 30 plus feet of wireless range and a 1000 hertz polling rate. From my understanding, the sticks on this one are Hall effect. The D-pad on this one is tactile, which may resonate different for different people. I would say this will be a great D-pad. Could be wrong, hope not. It does include the dongle as well as a receiver. Now, unfortunately, I don't know the release date or the price of this or when it's actually going to launch, but there's an option to be notified whenever it does. And speaking about not knowing when stuff is going to happen, next up here may be a PSA, maybe not. Who knows if you've got a Google Pixel 7 Pro. I no longer have a Pixel 7 Pro, so I don't know here, but if you do, there are some reports that the battery is swelling. If you do have a Pixel 7 Pro, my recommendation would be to probably keep your eye on your device and pay attention to it. And if you see the battery swelling, you may want to reach out to Google for immediate help to see what can be done. Because swollen batteries are obviously not a good thing. And switching from bad to arguably good, next up here we're talking about Palworld. And even though Palworld is in the middle of a lawsuit with Pokemon and Nintendo, it appears that Palworld is getting ready to release version 1.0. They say here it will officially release in 2026. They are currently developing a massive amount of content for this milestone and also planning some surprises for the rest of 2025. I'll drop a link to the tweet in the description below within the GitHub link and let me know your thoughts about this one. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and the legendary one fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.